Yeah, it's always good to get a couple of days off. It's important to have those 3 or 4 days off. I only had 3 or 4 days. Coming into a Thursday game, it meant that we trained over the weekend, so we got back into it pretty quickly and had a good session on Sunday. Oh, it's been good actually because they've been able to do more training, and that's probably been the good thing about it. They've been able to train right through this 2-week block, so that's been the pleasing thing. Up until then, they'd been on limited training programs, so they've been able to get some training in, which has been good for them and good for the team. We went pretty hard on Sunday, and we needed to. We had a good solid hit out, and most of the boys trained, which was good. So it's a little bit different than what previously having the weekend off, and it was good. We just had the 4 days off after the Essendon game and got back into it sort of mid last week, and then trained over the weekend. So they feel pretty good at the moment. Yeah, it was. I mean, we'd been getting out of the blocks well and playing some good pressure football for 4 quarters and being consistent at it. So that was pleasing, but obviously all of our attention turns to what has been the most successful team over the last 10 years in the Cats this Thursday. It's going to be a fantastic contest. Yeah, it's really hard to say. I mean, obviously, unless you're inside the club, I mean, he obviously went off and was subbed during the course of the game, but unless you're inside the club, you really don't know. And particularly with the knocks, as a concussion, you don't really know. What you do know is that the doctors always have got the welfare of the players at heart, so we've got no idea whether he'll play or not. So until we see the team run out, we're not sure. Well, I mean, they've got plenty of good players. I mean, they're not far off being full strength anyway. So when you've got players of the likes that they've got in their defence, they've got probably one of the best defences going around anyway. So, I mean, they've got plenty of good players. Lonigan's a very good player, but they've got others down there that can fill the role, I'm sure. All of our team needs to be competitive, all 22 players. The front 6 boys are part of that, but it's a complete team performance that we're after, and that's contested ball, offence and defence. We want all of our players playing strongly in all aspects of the game, and if we get that right, then we're a chance. And we know that Geelong generally over the last decade have been able to be consistent at it, and we need to make sure that we do it, and that's our challenge. He still hasn't come along to the point we'd like him to, so it's still not quite right. It's a bit back related as well. So what we initially thought would only be 1 week has now turned into a 4 week. So we're hoping that he'll be right next week. He's running, but he's not able to take the next step in the sprint work and change the direction that he needs to do before the ball works. So we're hoping to get that stage into him over the weekend. He's okay for next week. So we thought he'd be back before now, but obviously he's not. Yeah, it is. He's been on that learning curve pretty quickly all year, and after only playing 2 games at the Tigers and then coming up to us, even though he's a bit more mature as far as age is concerned, he's still learning the game very much, and he's been good. He's been solid. He's been doing his job and keeping it pretty simple and creating a contest in the middle of the ground. And this week, once again, he gets another challenge. Simpson and McIntosh are 2 quality ruckmen and 2 big blokes as well, so there'll be a challenge for him. Yeah, Tommy played well last weekend. Obviously, it's he had a big day out and he worked really hard, and it's probably really showing I think the benefit of being able to train continuously for the previous 3 or 4 weeks before that, which he wasn't able to do earlier. So he's right on the cusp. Obviously Benny McGlynn as well, we expect to come back in the team, and so he's another one that's been a really good player for us all year, so it'd be good to get him back. After missing a great slab of training, that he's been able to get back and continuously train over the last month as well, and there's no doubt that your form line is not always consistently on the upwards curve. You just generally get back to being, his first 2 games were pretty good, and he came back as 1 as sub, and then he played up in Brisbane and played quite well, and so he's just getting used to the training load and the playing load as well now, and he's been able to do that and consistently train well for us over the last few weeks, and that turns to good form sooner rather than later. And we know he's a flexible player that can play any role on the ground, and we've seen some elements of that at training more and more over the last three weeks, so we're confident that he'll be able to play a really good game for us. Yeah, it is. I mean, there's Mick O'Loughlin is probably no greater example in as far as the history of this footy club in regards to the importance of Indigenous players for this club, and Mick O'Loughlin's been a real shining light for this footy club, and I remember when Goodsy played his 300th down in Tassie, there was a speech that Mick O'Loughlin did before the game as he presented the jumper to Goodsy. For those that were lucky enough to experience that, was probably one of the great memories in footy, to be able to listen to that, and 2 blokes that are really proud of who they are and where they come from and the impact they can have, and they're certainly looking forward to this week's game. We play the #1 tackling team in the competition this week, and we're really looking forward to it. It'll be a terrific game in front of what we hope's a huge crowd here at the SCG, and we can't wait to play one of the best teams that's been around, or the best team in the last decade. So both teams are going to be at almost full strength, and we're really looking forward to the contest.